Hello. I wanted to take some time to talk through the skills page for those of you who might like some help with certain problems. We'll just go one by one here, one at a time. I'm going to talk fairly quickly, but you can always go back and pause this video and rewind and listen to certain parts again. I'm going to start with number one, which is a division problem, and I want you to notice that there's a decimal point in the divisor. And we can't really solve a division problem the traditional way with a decimal point in the divisor, so we have to move that over and make 5.9 59. And if we do that, we have to do the same thing over here. Make 1,209, turn that into 12,090. And then 12,090 divided by 59 will give you the same answer as this problem. So you don't have to do anything after you do that. Just solve it like a long division problem. 12,090 divided by 59. Okay, you do that with anytime you have a decimal point in the divisor. It's okay if there's a decimal point over here, but the decimal point in the divisor needs to move. And then if you do that, then you have to move it over here. All right, that's number one. Number two has is a circumference and area problem for circles. So you have to remember how to find the area and circumference when you're given certain information like the diameter or the radius. In this case, we're given the diameter, which is 2.5 centimeters. If you multiply the diameter by pi, you get the circumference. So that's the easy part. Just multiply this by this, and that will be the circumference of the circle. But for the area, we have to remember pi r squared. So you take pi, multiply it by the radius, which is half of this, and take that and multiply it by itself. R squared is half of this multiplied by itself. Okay, multiply that by pi, and you have the area. All right. Those are the first two. 390 is what percent of 30? Remember, you can set this up as a proportion. 390 equals what percent of 30? So we're trying to find the percent, so that would be x over 100. And 30 is actually the whole, and 390 is the part. So the percent that we're going to come up with is going to be way over 100% for your answer. So if you come up with an answer that is way over 100%, then you've got the right, you're working in the right direction. Okay. Number four, this is a subtracting mixed numbers problem. So we're going to want to try to find common denominators here. 12 would be a number that we could work with. That's going to be 8 3/12 minus 5 8/12. And so you're going to be subtracting 8/12 from 3/12, so that means you're going to want to borrow 12/12 from here, from 8, and make that 7. And 15/12 minus 5 8/12. Okay, so common denominators is the key there. Here we have an order of operations problem. So we have to do the division first. And remember, you're dividing fractions, which is just like multiplying by the reciprocal. So if you take this and multiply it by 3/2, you'll get the answer to this part of the problem. Then you'll do the addition, and you'll need common denominators for the addition, and then multiply that by 7. Okay, another order of operations problem over here. We have exponents, and we have parentheses, so do everything in the parentheses first. 8 minus 3 is 5, so make sure that's taken care of. Then rewrite the problem. 7 times 5 divided by 2 minus 3 to the third power. And remember, 3 to the third power means 3 times 3 times 3. So that's an order of operations problem. Number 7 is another percent problem, but remember, we have to find 20% of $115.75, and then add that on to $115.75 to find the total amount he paid for the bill. So that's what the bill came to. He found 20% of that and added it onto it, and that's what he paid for his bill. Standard restaurant procedure, 20% is typical. Okay, number 8, short answer, 2 parts. A shape is plotted on a coordinate grid using the rule x comma y. That just means the x is the x value, the y is the y value. What happens to the shape when we use the rule 2x plus 1 comma 2y minus 5? Remember what happens way back with Mug and Mug's family? What happens when we multiplied the x value by something and when we multiplied the y value by something, what happened to that figure when we added. All right, so this meant it got wider, this meant it moved upward, this meant it got taller, this meant it moved down, right? So think about that as you answer that problem. Number 9, almost at the end here. We won't talk about the bonus right now just for time's sake, but number 9 is p divided by 9 plus 17 equals 5. This is an algebra problem, much like the ones that we've been working on in the unit. Remember, we have to subtract from both sides. We have to simplify this problem. We're going to subtract 17 from here and subtract it from here to get a negative number over here. And then we're going to be left with p divided by 9 equals that negative number. And we're going to divide, or we're going to actually multiply both sides by 9 to get our final simplified answer. And then number 10, once again, is just an exercise of order of operations. Remember that you do the division inside the parentheses first, and then you'll do the addition inside the parentheses, and then you'll do the division part, and then the subtraction part, order of operations. All right, that's all. I'm going to stop this video before it gets too long. Remember, feel free to pause and go back and watch any part of this if you'd like to.